There is no ditch too deep for a determined entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, today we bring you a ruggedly determined entrepreneur. Welcome to the Brand Show. My name is Lydia Amuge, and I'm your host for the Brand Show, the show that brings you real entrepreneurs with real stories who will leave you really inspired. Once again, we're very excited to be in Nairobi. The people of Nairobi, thank you so much for welcoming us to your town. We are very excited to be in Kenya. The people from Uganda, thank you so much for following the Brand Show, and all the people who are watching from different nations across the world, thank you so much for joining the Brand Show. We're very excited to be with you today. The Brand Show is here for you. We bring you a show that will enable you to become the best version of yourself so that you can influence the world, influence your community, and influence nations. The Brand Show is brought to you by Winning Choices in partnership with Saida Solutions. Saida Solutions is based in Nairobi. You can find them at the Jadala Place on Ngong Road. If you have any questions concerning the Brand Show, you can get in touch with Danstan Machoka at the Jadala Place on Ngong Road. We are very excited once again to bring you yet another amazing entrepreneur from Kenya. 2 weeks ago, we had Kuki Kathomi Njeru, the lady behind Kenya's first fully integrated bamboo company, Greenport Enterprises. Today, we have a tenacious entrepreneur. Stephen Mutero Stephen's business model was fully hinged on the Uchumi supermarkets. And when the Uchumi brand shut down, so did Stephen's brand shut down. But he had two choices. He either had a choice of whining and dying, or he had a choice to rise up and fight. Stephen chose to rise up and fight, and today we have the Hamjambo brand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again as we just give Stephen 1 minute to join the show. Stephen will be joining us in 1 minute. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's put all the cyber love that we have to welcome none other than Stephen Mutero, our guest for the day. I know that we know how to love people in Africa. We love people. So let us see all the cyber love. Whatever you're doing, send us some, emojis to just welcome Stephen into today's show. Stephen, welcome to the Brand Show. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation to the Brand Show today.
Thank you.
Stephen, before we go into the show, I'll just allow you to say hello to our viewers from Uganda, from Kenya. I can see Laura Beth, that is all the way from the US. Thank you so much for joining us, Laura. Very excited to have you here. So like you can see, Stephen, this show is going across borders. We're having viewers not only from Uganda, Kenya, but all the way from the US. So right now, let us know where you're watching this from. If you're watching from Uganda, use the comment section. Tell us where you're watching from. We'd be very glad to know where you're watching this show from. Stephen, welcome to the Brand Show. Let me allow you to say hello to our viewers this evening.
Thank you so much, Lydia. I admire your energy. I was at the backstage and I could hear that introduction. I had to look over my shoulder just to make sure it is me you're talking about. But thank you so much for the warm introduction, and I'm delighted. I'm delighted to be on the Brand Show. I'm delighted also to be part of the family, the followers and the fans that are behind this show. So let me say Jambo. Our company is actually Hamjambo. Hamjambo is Swahili for hello. So Hamjambo, all you viewers out there. And thank you for supporting Lydia and what she's doing. An amazing job of just creating a platform indeed for us to hear one another and to just challenge one another. So thank you so much. Yeah, Lydia.
Wow, thank you so much, Stephen. Before we get further into the show, I just want to let our viewers know that today you will have an opportunity. Someone will have an opportunity to actually win free mentorship with our guest of the day, Stephen Mutero. Just imagine yourself being mentored by an entrepreneur who has been able to bounce back from his, from one of the deepest points a business can ever get into. You could be that lucky winner. So if you want to win that opportunity of mentorship with Stephen Mutero, our guest today, just make sure you stick through the entire show so that you're able to win that opportunity. Winning Choices will also be giving out 2 slots to our CEO Growth Corner. Tomorrow we shall be having a session in our CEO Growth Corner. And who knows, you could be the lucky business owner who wins that opportunity. And tomorrow we shall be talking about how you can turn your team into a high-performing engine that drives growth. Can you imagine? There's a value attached to it, but today you could be the lucky entrepreneur that wins that opportunity. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel because there's a lot of valuable content that comes on it beyond just the brand show. So let's get into the brand show. Stephen, we're very excited to hear your story because we know that there's definitely a lot that we can live with at the end of this show. So Stephen, we would like to know, our viewers would like to know, how did your entrepreneurship journey begin?
All right. Thank you so much, Lydia. So the company has been around, Hamjambo has been around for 14 years, but actually my journey in business or entrepreneurship began, it's older than Hamjambo, it's older than the Hamjambo story. So it actually started around 14 years old, I was 14 years. And thanks to my parents, dad and mom, they had a bookstore, so a bookshop, as we call it. So I would work behind the counters over school holidays. So serving customers, selling stationery, geometrical sets, rubbers, and wrapping them. Then we would use newspapers to do the wrapping. So I really enjoyed that interaction and meeting customers. And yeah, so I can say it started then, 14 years. I remember when I was in campus, I continued doing business. So this business bag has been in me for since way back. In campus, I would sell cards, love cards and Valentine cards. I was popular around relationship matters, not as a guru, but as a businessman. Yeah. So I also did hair. I would blow dry ladies' hair. I would charge somewhere between 150 shillings to 200 Kenya shillings. So I've been in business for a while. But I would say when I turned 26, I resigned. I was working actually in Nairobi for a medical insurance company. I tendered my resignation. My friends, my boss thought I was crazy. Who does that? You're a young man. I think I had a promising career at the company. But I felt I wanted to go back home and help with the family business. So yeah, in age 26, I resigned. I took over my parents' business, the bookstore. I had done a BCom in accounting, so my parents felt we have educated you. You have what it takes to take this family business to the next level. So yeah, I resigned and I went back. It was a bold move, but I'm happy I did that. Then at age 28, we started Hamjambo.com, and I think that's a business we are focusing on today. Thank you. That's the journey, and it continues.
Okay. So just tell us, so you started Hamjambo. How exactly did Hamjambo start? Because you started and you were selling cards, Valentine cards, birthday cards. How did the Hamjambo idea and concept move from an idea now to a fully fledged business that is over 10 years old today?
Okay. Thank you, Lydia. So what happened around that time when I was 28 years, 27, 28, Telecom Kenya was looking for distributors for their airtime, and they had already gotten distributors in Nairobi and Mombasa, so they were looking for distributors for the rest of the country. So Embu, the county where I was at the time was one of the counties that they needed people on the ground. So they needed a business that had premises on a busy street, on a high street. So I used my parents' family business, the bookstore, as the premises with which we were to secure the dealership. So I was actually, as we put in the application for the dealership, I was actually still running the family business, selling stationery and textbooks and sports equipment, doing deliveries and supplies to institutions around Mount Kenya. So yeah, that was going on when we put in our application for dealership, Telecom Kenya. Yeah.
Okay, so what I know about your story is that your business was originally hinged around the Uchumi supermarket. So can you tell us how you got to start working with the Uchumi supermarkets and how you actually spread?
Yeah, so the business was started in 2007, Hamjambo. That's when we incorporated the company. But for the first 2 years, close to 3 years, we were actually just doing the telecom business. Selling airtime, actually hawking. So we'd move around the market areas, recruiting vendors, and would sell airtime, SIM cards, as we call them, and handsets, modems for internet. So after year 3, Uchumi, the supermarket chain, was coming to Embu. And by that time, I had made an observation that they didn't have, they were not selling phones. Uchumi supermarket, you could not walk into an Uchumi store and buy a phone. So I realized there's an opportunity because Nakumatt, which was another supermarket chain, had that model. So you could go into Nakumatt, you could go into Tuskys, and you could buy phones. But they didn't have a phone partner in Uchumi. So I approached them. And yeah, what would have been a long story cut short, we got into specialty agreement, as they called it, and then we started actually setting up inside Uchumi. So our first store was in Uchumi Embu, where we started now selling phones outside now my parents' store at the bookshop. So from there we moved to Meru. So after Meru, I was contemplating around, maybe going around to the smaller counties. But I remember I spoke to the head of security at Uchumi Embu branch. And he told me, Steve, why are you fearing going to Nairobi? Go to Nairobi. Nairobi is for people like you. Go. I mean, don't go around and then come to Nairobi when you're strong. Just go now. So he actually inspired me. And yeah, after Meru, we actually went to Embakasi, that is in Nairobi, Taj Mall. That was our best performing store. So after that, we moved to Gong Road near Jadala Place, where you have your Nairobi offices, and then Langata, yeah, and the story continued. Thank you, Lydia.
Wow. So how many branches in total had you moved to? How many branches in total was your business in?
Yeah, so that number, I think the highest we were was 8. We were also looking forward to coming to Uganda. Maybe I would have met you. Yeah, because Uchumi was also expanding. So actually our strategy was, like you rightly said, was hinged on the Uchumi expansion strategy. So where Uchumi was, Hamjambo wanted to be there. So maybe it was just maybe an issue of capital and timing and growing our own internal capacity, but that was the plan. The plan was to occupy every space that Uchumi was. Yeah, that was the strategy that we had. So we had 8 branches, answering the question.
Wow, so 8 branches with how many employees across these branches?
Yeah, I think at the helm, we had around 18 staff working for Hamjambo. Yeah, 18.
Okay. Wow, very interesting, fast expansion within a very short period of time. So what has been your lowest moment of business? Because we all know about what happened to the Uchumi supermarkets. I don't want to take it for granted, but we want to find out what has been your lowest moment in business as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Thank you, Lydia. So I think mine was a perfect case of putting all your eggs in one basket, So the basket was Uchumi, and Uchumi 2017, the doors just shut, I think it had been 2-3 years in the making. But we kept being told there's an investor coming, and the Kenyan government will put in money. So we kept holding out hope, trying to talk to bankers. We had been financed by the banks with our expansion, and we were hopeful that there will be a turnaround. Now that the government especially had a huge stake, but Lydia, that was not going to happen. So 2017 was, I would say, the lowest moment for me. And I think there are two things here. So there's a business, there's Hamjambo, but there's also the person in the business, the entrepreneur in the business. So for me, as the CEO, as a founder, that was very difficult. I remember at a personal level, we had just gotten a baby. The baby was 2 or 3 months, and we are dealing with creditors, we are dealing with auctioneers. Where I was staying in Nairobi at Langata, I had not paid rent for 3 months. So the auctioneers came, and I was not home that afternoon when they came. My wife opened the door holding a small baby. I mean, it was just traumatic, And even before that, my wife was reminding me today, for a season, we were just eating ugali and sukuma wiki. My wife, during the pregnancy, would have cravings. She wants a burger. No money to buy no burger, Lydia. That was tough. As a man, you want to give your best to your wife. We had land. We had family land, and if you know, and you definitely know, I mean, land is a very emotive matter, especially in the African setup. So my mom had given me the title deed, which I had used to secure a facility in the bank. But that land, we had to let it go, this is family land. I am the first child. So this is the first child who is meant to take care of family property and the family legacy. And now the land has to be sold by the bank. That was a difficult moment, Lydia. I would also tell you, I believe it's nice to be also vulnerable, to share some personal detail. We lost a child that was buried in that land that we had to let go. So my very first child, was buried in that land. And Lydia, that was tough. I remember talking to my mentor and telling him, I feel so sad. I've let down my family. The land had to be sold by the bank. But he told me something. He's called Dr. Nyaga. He told me, Steve, you know what? You didn't drink the money. We know what happened to your business, So don't beat yourself and lament over what has happened. Just let it go. You can always buy land. You can always move on. And that was encouraging. So Lydia, that was a low season. Yeah. 2017, 2018,
wow.
Dealing with creditors. Yes.
That was really deep, expecting wife, a newly born child, the bank is calling, you have no business, you have no money. That was really deep. So how were you able to come out of that ditch, Steve?
Lydia, so I'm a business person. And I think as an entrepreneur, you're many things. You're not just a business person, you're a family person, you're a community person. So I'm a first child. And I would say I have gone through a lot outside of business. I think that has made me strong, that has built my faith in God. As a first child, I have a sister that I love dearly. She is bipolar. She has a mental condition. And if you have been around families or a loved one with that condition, it can be very heavy, dealing with just the medical side, the social side of it. And I've gone through many things. I lost my dad 12 years ago, buried him. I've talked about burying a small child. He was just 1 hour old. He had just been with us for an hour. He could not make it. So let me say, Lydia, that I have gone through many things that have strengthened my faith in God. So business going down, Lydia, is not a death sentence, The God who was with me, the God who was with Joseph when he was thrown in the pit and in the prison, So I go back to those stories, I go back to those stories in the Old Testament, David and Goliath, taking out a giant. So I get encouragement from that. And as I've said, I think I've gone through many other things that have strengthened my faith and my resolve. And business going down, even in this season of COVID, it's not a death sentence. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I like that idea of business challenges are not a death sentence, but rather they are opportunities to rise up to the next level. So I know there are so many entrepreneurs who have really been faced with so many challenges because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So what advice would you give them in regard to changing their business model? How does one swiftly change a business model rather than close a business?
Okay, thank you, Lydia. So obviously I'm talking from my own perspective. I'm not a professor in the subject of strategy, so I'll just share my own experiences. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll be a professor in business strategy. Yeah, so for me, so the business has been around for a while, 14 years. And in that period, we have gone through many changes. So right now, maybe I would say we are in Hamjambo 3.0. But when I reflect on your question, I would say for me, I have had a number of aha moments, and they have come about through people interaction. So I'm talking to, like I said, the head of security at Uchumi, and he says, Steve, why are you not going to Nairobi? Who are you leaving Nairobi for? You can go to Nairobi. You're young, but you can go to Nairobi. And I'm like, wow, right there. Change strategy. Instead of just doing the small towns, just go straight to Nairobi. Nairobi controls 60-70% of Kenya's GDP. Go there. That's where the action is. Right now, we are working with microfinance institutions. That was not my idea, Lydia. It came from a guy, again, in Embu, a friend of mine called Robert. Robert, at the time, I haven't spoken to him in a while. I don't know what he's doing. But Robert, at the time, was working for Safaricom, the leading telco in Kenya. And I saw him packing phones into his car. So I asked him, Robert, why are you taking all these phones? Who has bought these phones? And he told me he's actually taking them to Kengen Sacco, because they have ordered. So he told me that Kengen has an MOU with Safaricom. So the staff of the Sacco are actually buying phones directly from Safaricom. And he told me, Steve, you can also talk to, microfinance institutions, banks, and then, have an MOU, so that if Lydia is a member of a certain bank out there in Uganda, you need a phone, you don't want to pay for it upfront in cash, you know that your banker will pay that for you, and then you will be remitting small payments to the banker. So yeah, that idea again, Lydia, was not mine. So for me, when I reflect, this changes in strategy have come about what I'm calling aha moments, coming off very normal, conversations with different people. Yeah, so that's what I would say. I think for a business person, keep your feelers on the ground. Just keep talking to people. You'll get ideas. For me, that's how I would answer that question, Lydia.
Wow, I really like that you don't have to be a professor or read some of maybe the biggest books of business and management, but just the simple conversations, the simple everyday conversations can actually cause a business to change levels. Wow, that's a very powerful lesson there. So, Stephen, one thing I definitely know is that when every business was going down during the COVID-19 pandemic, your business was rising up. How did you do that? And how are you able to, thrive in a season when everyone is crying?
Yeah. Thank you. I thank God for that. It's true. We have enjoyed growth in the last 2 years, and I was just looking at the numbers, the first quarter plus April this year, month on month, it's better than last year. So I thank God, and it's true the business is going up. You've asked the question, how? I'll take you back to the aha moment. So last year, end of March, there was a Safaricom guy fixing our home fiber internet. So I just engaged the guy, asked him, so how is business now? People are meant to be working from home. How is it business for you as an installer of home internet? He told me, so I think we were having this conversation first week, second week of March last year. So he told me the number of home connections they did in January in total, he has been able to do that entire figure in just 1 week, the first week of March. I was like, then it hit me as we were talking that people are actually setting up or turning their homes into offices where they can work from, into study places where their kids can do their schooling and all that. And I was like, up until that time, Lydia, we were not selling too many. We were actually more into selling devices, mobile phones. Very few computers, very few laptops, printers. We would do that, but not too much. More of laptops, more of televisions, TVs, accessories, and mobile phones. But when he told me that, I realized it's an opportunity. People are now working from home. Most of the people will need gadgets. And so I talked to my sister, and I told her, one of my sisters, I have two sisters. So I talked to one of my sisters and I told her, you know what, I always be on Facebook and social media. Why don't you, I'll give you a commission, look for customers looking for laptops and printers for home use or whatever, and then I'll give you some commission. And so that's how it started. So she was out there looking, and there was a certain lady, a good friend of mine, has become a very good friend of mine, who was looking for 4 machines for her children. So she bought the machines. After 2 days, when she got them, she did a mention on her Facebook wall that, I met this great guy. I think he's a legit businessman. If you need any of these gadgets for use during this season, just give him a call. So that has been, that one mention, I call her an influencer, that one mention by Dr. Wala has actually been, it opened the floodgates for us. I mean, people have been calling outside the country. We have done business in the US. People saying, I have a niece, nephew, somewhere in Kapenguria. I have someone called, I think in October, has a niece in Langata, and they send money. How do I send money to you? World Remit, you learn these things, how you can get money from the diaspora. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey. We thank God. But again, as I'm saying, it's those aha moments that opened up my eyes and our eyes to these opportunities that were around COVID. Yeah.
Wow, so just one mention on social media sent you to the US, sent you to so many other parts of Nairobi and beyond Nairobi.
And Kenya.
So what advice would you give to an entrepreneur who is still second guessing whether they need to be consistent with their social media presence?
I'm still learning this whole social media thing, but I would say be constant. One, be constant. So you don't post something today and then you take a break next week, 2 weeks. You're not predictable. You need to be predictable. You have to go the long haul. Yeah. So you need to be consistent. For us, we have picked 2 days, so either Wednesday or Thursday, not later, not earlier, unless there's a holiday. And again, depending on what type of content we are putting out. So Wednesday, Thursday is when we normally would put out our content, mainly on Facebook, Twitter also, but mainly on Facebook. And again, between 12 and 2 p.m. So again, finding what works for you, depending on what the messaging and brand and whatever it is that you're pushing. So being consistent. Then number 2, Lydia, I would say it's being relevant. So whatever it is that you're putting there, you need to, so who is your audience? So some of the things we have been doing is we are harvesting all the phone numbers. Even though you've showed an interest in our brand and you've not bought, we archive that number. We have different broadcast lists, broadcast lists on WhatsApp. So I think we have almost 3 or 4, and one is 250. So you can imagine that number is growing from last year. You're getting to almost 700 something. So we archive those numbers so that it is easy for us to send out messages. But again, the way we've done the archiving is by audiences. So this audience is this type, so that whatever content we send out to broadcast list A, it's relevant content for that audience. Yeah. So being consistent, I would say, and being relevant. Yes.
Wow, those are really amazing tips there. Be consistent and be relevant. I just want to thank our viewers for watching from different parts of the world. Thank you so much for joining us. There are some people who have been very consistent. I want to say thank you to Susan Prima Samuel has been one of our consistent viewers, watching us right from the time we started the show. Susan, thank you so much. She's watching all the way from Canada. So Susan, thank you so much for watching this show all the way from Canada and for consistently being with us during the show. I just want to let you know that before the end of this show, someone will actually have an opportunity to win mentorship with Stephen for the next 3 months. So I'm just going to ask the question. If you have been watching with us from the start, the very first person to answer this question will actually have an opportunity to be mentored by Stephen for the next 3 months. I can also see we have different people watching. We have Gina Cole watching from Bermuda. Imagine when I started the brand show, I thought I was doing it for only the Ugandans and Kenyans. Little did I know that the brand show would be going to Bermuda, Canada, US, Kenya, and across the world. And all our viewers, wherever you're watching from Uganda, I appreciate. Thank you so much for following. So the question that will lead you to 3-month mentorship with Stephen is, which type of family business did Stephen work in? In which he left? Sorry, that question is not clear. I'll take the first one. In which town in Kenya did Steve start his business? In which town in Kenya did Steve start his business? If you're able to answer that question, you'll have an opportunity to win mentorship with Steve for the next 3 months. He'll show you how to bounce back in business and build a thriving business. So Steve, let's continue with our conversation. So what challenges, I mean, business is not a walk in the park. I personally have walked my journey for 9 years, and there are times I'm thinking, did I really sign up for this? I know it's not a walk in the park. So what challenges have you faced in the journey of establishing your brand?
Thank you. So many challenges, like you said, not one, not two, not three, a couple. Maybe I'll just pick maybe 2. I think for me, when the business went down, the challenge, maybe 3. Let me talk about 3. So one is dealing with creditors, people you owe money, you know, and so there's this thing we say in Kiswahili, rangi ya pesa. You know, if you're brown skinned, people say you look like you have money. So business has gone down in 2017. You look like you have money, Lydia. You're brown. You know? So someone is like, why are you not even able to pay 5,000 shillings? You owe me X amount of money. You look like you have money. You have money. You cannot not be having money. You know, and just trying to explain that I don't have money at the moment. I've even had to dispose of some assets to take care of some things. That has been very difficult. I mean, I can tell you the truth. Till now, Lydia, we still owe people quite some good amount of money out there, but I talk to them. You know, that's the other thing I've learned. You just always talk and engage people you owe money, especially if you're in business. Don't refuse to take phone calls. Pick them. They are tough, very tough, but just engage them, because I think it reduces the pressure, if there's anything like that, to a certain extent. Yeah. The second challenge, I think, was a realization that don't take it for granted that your friends will buy from you, your family will support your business. You know, one of my sisters, I have 2 sisters, so one of my sisters, the other sister, bought a laptop, I think, a couple of years back from competition. Lydia, hey, I was so disappointed. And it's a kind of disappointment I can't even call her and ask her. You know what I mean? It's a kind of disappointment you deal with. You reflect by yourself, you know. How is it that your own sister thought of, okay, she knows she needs this gadget and decides to buy from the competition? And one of the things, the thing I came out of from that was, don't assume that you're top of mind. Don't assume your brand is top. And it is actually from that I realized I have to be consistent in marketing, including in our cousins WhatsApp groups, in the family WhatsApp groups, alumni association WhatsApp groups. When I talk of pushing the messaging, whatever, every week, I do that there, because I don't want to leave anything to chance. And I realized I was being presumptuous by assuming just because you're my relative, just because you're my sister, and you know that I have a need and you know I am in this business, you'll buy from me. No, I realized it doesn't work like that. Just, be consistent. Don't assume anything. Don't assume anything. And then maybe the third challenge is, and to me, maybe this is the biggest Lydia, is the battle is here. The battle is in the mind. When you're going through challenges, you have to encourage yourself. You have to speak to yourself. You have to dismiss those voices that say you can't do it. You have to deal with those negative voices. And as I said somewhere in the show, it's my faith in God. God has been that voice, internal voice that trumps, these are the small voices you can't make it. You remind yourself, Joseph did it, David did it, Daniel in the lion's den. I can't.
Wow, those are amazing lessons. We really have to encourage ourselves, because if you don't encourage yourself, what will you do? Recently I told a friend of mine that sometimes I clap for myself, and they wondered, you clap for yourself, really? And I told them, well, if I don't clap for myself, who will? So entrepreneurs out there, like Stephen has said, we need to learn how to clap for ourselves, because not always will the world be there to clap for us. So I just want us to see, Stephen, the viewers are really very happy. See what Samuel Lorraine is saying. I'm liking what I'm hearing from this entrepreneur. Yes, I'll encourage you. If you're liking the show, let us post in the comments. Let Stephen know that the 1 hour that he has given us today is not a waste of time, but it's rather adding value. If there's something that you have picked so far from our conversation, let us know in the comments. So, Stephen, how are you able to keep your brand fresh all the time?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. So we are on social media. We are an online business. We deliver information devices, mobile and computing devices and access. We also do repairs. So we have to be consistent, as I said. But one of the things that I've really come to embrace is blogging. So because you see, I can't just keep doing offers, saying this phone was 10,000, now it's 9,500. I really don't want to get into that price competition. We don't want to position the brand as such. So we really want to offer value. So we've realized blogging is a way of acquiring and also retaining existing customers. So we'll blog on different aspects that we think are important to our audiences. For example, now that many children have gotten devices, they're always on the internet. So we're educating parents on the dark side of the web. How can you protect your child from cyberbullying and cyber issues? So we do those kind of articles, so just to continue keeping the brand fresh. So we are not just selling, but we are also coming alongside to help the consumer to understand the tech space as well, and some of the challenges, some of the questions they be asking themselves. And if you visit our website, hamjambo.com, you will have an opportunity to see some of the blogging we have been doing in the last couple of months. Yes.
Well, I like what you've brought out. You say it's not about selling all the time, but we also need to realize that we need to be able to add value to the client. I think what is currently happening in the entrepreneurship space is that it is so easy to penetrate. So there are so many people coming and all are trying to sell. So I believe that the business that not only sells, but also focuses on adding value to the client really gains a cutting edge in the market. That's a really valuable way of doing business.
And also entertaining. It's not always just making money. You also want to come across as a fun brand. It's fresh. So some of the content we'll put out there is just entertaining. as I said, maybe 20% of our content will be selling, 80% is either adding value, educating, or entertaining. Yeah.
Wow. So, Stephen, someone is saying, Samuel Ibanda is saying, great insights, Stephen. Samuel Ibanda, thank you so much for watching. Like Susan Trima, Samuel Ibanda has been with us right from the start of the show. Of the brand show in March. She's a very consistent viewer on the show, Samuel Ibanda. Thank you. Tony Miro says we share the same story and we thank God for all the new openings always. Thank you so much. Julia says we should not leave anything to chance. The batteries in the mind. So surely indeed there is a lot that we can do when we have a strengthened mind. So Stephen, what makes the Hamjambo brand unique?
Okay. Thank you, Lydia. So it's two things, it's one thing. I love people, one. Two, if I love you, Lydia, if I love my wife, I want to be honest with her, the way I look at it. So I think what makes the Hamjambo brand unique is I want to be honest. I want us to be an honest company. There was a statistic that I came across some time back. 40% of the electronics in the Kenyan market, Lydia, believe it or not, are fake. Maybe that number could be higher. So I want Hamjambo to be known as an honest brand. And I go out of my way to ensure that is happening. I will pick suppliers that I'm sure will, if they say there's warranty, if they say they can replace this, if Lydia buys this and it has an issue and they can't be fixed, they replace. I'm actually an advocate for the client's rights. I fight my suppliers. I really fight them because I don't want to come across as a cheat. I don't want to be part of that 40-50% who are selling electronics that do not have warranty. I'll give you a small story, Lydia, as we continue. A month ago, online, I've not met this client. So she buys, she says, you came highly recommended. I want a laptop for my son. We do the back and forth. We send images, the till number. She makes the payment. She gets the machine. Gets the machine after 4 days. She tells me, Steve, I think the machine has a problem. It's hanging. I don't understand. So I tell her, okay, I don't know what the issue is. Just let's have it over. So we send the rider for the border guy. Goes picks the laptop. We have a look. So as the people are looking at it, she sends me a WhatsApp and says, I'm actually thinking about this laptop. Why would a laptop 4 days old be crashing, or not really crashing, but hanging? I tell her, I don't know. We are still looking at it. Just give me time. Tomorrow, I'll give you feedback. So we do this back and forth on chat, and she's like, you know what? I actually want my money back. I'm like, that would be tricky because there's warranty. We don't know what the issue is. We've not gotten to a place where we don't know what's going on. So just give us time. Let me tell you, Lydia, she insisted she wants her money back. She told me this is the first gadget I am buying in the Kenyan market. I've always been importing all my electronics from the US. I think I made a very big mistake. I want my money back. So this is around 9 p.m. in the night. I've gotten home. I need to be with my boys and my wife. But so I'm trying to tell her, let's have this conversation tomorrow. She said, you know what? I'm not going to change my mind tomorrow. I want my money back tomorrow. Anyway, so the following day, I tell the technician. So the plan was we want to reformat, just wipe everything and just install Windows afresh, Office and all that. So I told the technicians, before we do that, just check what could be slowing down this machine. And you know what we found out? We sold this machine to the client, but now the son, because the son is the one that was using it for gaming. So it doesn't have a graphics card. It's not a gaming machine. So the game, it was a 40s, the game 40. So the game was actually slowing down the machine. So what I did, I took through the customer, because now she had even gone to her Facebook wall and posted. She didn't mention the name of the company, but she had said, there's this guy I bought this machine from. I think they are fake. I even think the box that came with this machine was printed somewhere in some slum area. So I saw that post and I was like, oh no, that is not us. That is not how we do business. But she hadn't mentioned who we are. So what I did on WhatsApp, I just told her, one, I am so sorry that the machine has been hanging. Two, The issue with the laptop is the following, and I explained. 3, if you go to the hp.com US website, you put in the serial number, and you have the serial number because you have the box. It will tell you whether this machine has warranty, is genuine or not. Do you know what happened? She told me, okay, if I want to trade in this machine, now let's talk like friends. If I want to trade in this machine, how much money do I need to top up? So we did that. I gave her the price for a new machine. She did the top up. 2 weeks ago, she sent me someone else, a referral, told me, by the way, I was sent by so-and-so, and we are friends. So yeah, I think what makes Hamjambo unique is that the desire to be different. We don't want to cheat people. We want to do honest and clean business. Yeah, Lydia.
Wow. I think honesty, those are things that you can't find everywhere. So I think Hamjambo really has a very unique way of doing business, because the truth is that you'll find very few honest businesses. Many people are looking for the money, but that is indeed something that cannot easily be copied and pasted. The business owner, the entrepreneur must choose. And I think the reason you're thriving today is because you're choosing the things that not so many are choosing. So if you're an entrepreneur out there, look at your business and look at what are those things that you can choose that not everyone else is choosing, because it is those small, seemingly little things that actually make the difference. So ladies and gentlemen, we shall be ending our show soon, but before we end the show, right now is the time when you can start sending in questions. If there are any questions that you want to ask Steve will be able to answer some of those questions. Write in the comments. You can send whatever questions that you want Steve to answer during this session. But as those questions are coming in, Winning Choices, tomorrow we'll be having our CEO Growth Corner. The purpose of the CEO Growth Corner is to help the CEOs grow. The truth is that there's no business that can grow beyond its CEO. If the CEO is at a level 5, the business will only grow up to 4. If the CEO raises to 8, that business will step up to 7. If the CEO rises to 10, the business will step up to 10. We have seen it not with one business, not with 2 businesses, and that's why Winning Choices has opened up the CEO Growth Corner. So if you want to be with us at the CEO Growth Corner tomorrow, just type in the comments CEO Growth Corner, and we shall get in touch with you. It's only for 1 hour between 5:30 to 7 p.m. East African time. So if you really want to be a part of the CEO Growth Corner tomorrow, just type in the comments. About the person who was won, we had 3 answers. We had Susan Prima said Nairobi. Someone else said Meru, but that was not the answer. But since Susan was the first person, and also because she has been a consistent viewer of our show, the place is Embu. That was the first town. But Susan, we shall give you this slot of free mentorship with Steve for the next 3 months, simply because you have been a consistent viewer. You have journeyed with us through she wants to come in for CEO Growth Corner. I can see there are so many people who want to be with us in the CEO Growth Corner tomorrow. So Susan, you can join us in the CEO Growth Corner. Samuel also wants to, Miriam also wants to come into the CEO Growth Corner. We shall get in touch with you. Susan, our client success leader, will get in touch with you to give you more information. Susan Prima, you have won the opportunity of mentorship with Steve. We shall also get in touch with you to follow up on how exactly that will happen. So as we come to the end of this show, Steve, we want you to close the show by just giving us some parting shots. What are your parting shots to our viewers today? We're having people viewing from Canada, from Bermuda, from the US, from Kenya, from Uganda. All have come to hear from you. All wanted to learn something from you. And I trust that they've gone away with something from this show. So what are your parting shots to all our viewers across the world?
Yeah, thank you, Lydia. I would say in school, we learned, I think there were 4 P's of marketing. Then somewhere I had there 7. Last week I had there 12. So there are 12 P's of marketing, 7 P's of marketing, 4 P's when I was in school. or marketing and marketing strategy. I think for me, there's one P that stands out. It's not in the original 4 Ps. And for me, that is what I think I would want us to focus on. And that is people. People, customers, people, suppliers, people, your staff, people. I mean, you can't do business with yourself. You need people, you need the suppliers. And for me, I don't know whether I didn't say this, Lydia, but do you know, I am not using any of my money to do the business I'm doing today. I am using supplier credit. One of actually my suppliers, I owe him a lot of cash coming off the Uchumi decline. So I still owe him money, but he continues to give me credit because we have an arrangement about how we are sorting out the old obligation. So for me, Lydia, people are key. People, customers, people, suppliers, people, your board, people, your spouse. My wife has stood with me when the business was down. So for me, you know, maybe young people say I don't have capital to do the business. Lydia, I am telling you, in this COVID season, I am doing business without capital. The capital maybe I have is the people capital, not money. I don't have a loan with the bank to do the business I'm doing. So I would say, take care of your relationships, manage that, nurture that. People are everything. It's the most important P for an entrepreneur.
Wow, Steve, that's amazing. It's like as if you read into our topic for the CEO Growth Corner. Tomorrow we shall be talking about how to turn your teams into a high-performing engine.
I should
so
come.
If you want to join us in the CEO Growth Corner, Steve has just been talking about people. Tomorrow, come and learn how to actually turn those teams of yours, your people, into a high-performing engine that drives growth. And so, Steve, you're also invited for that to the CEO Growth Corner. Those who have not, if those who have not been able to interact with you here can interact with you tomorrow. Since you're about people, come, let's talk about people tomorrow. So there's someone is asking a question before we go. Sorry, are you planning to expand into other markets? Ethiopia is looking ripe and ready. At the last brand show, I told people that businesses are beginning at the brand show. So, Steve, there is an opportunity there. Someone is almost, you see, you're the one who said you're always listening.
Yeah, and this is
they are calling you to the Ethiopian markets. Let me allow you to answer.
Yeah. So, I believe business is an organism, so it's growing. I love partnerships. As I said, people, I love partnerships. We're in discussion with a bank, and we want to see how that will go. Again, coming off what I talked about, the microfinance arrangement. So we are working with KCB. I'm just about to get into something serious around that. So let's see how they are moving, and probably we'll move with them. But so the point is, definitely we'll be looking for opportunities, Lydia. Thank you, Mbugwanje, here for that good question and that urging that we should be thinking of. It's a huge market, growing market. It's not too far from where we are. Yeah, Safaricom, I believe, I don't know that they're winning, but Safaricom should be getting the license for that, hopefully, for MTN, Safaricom. Yeah, so we'll be looking keenly at that market and future markets. Yeah, but I like I said, I'm a people person, so I'm open to partnerships that can take this mission of doing good business out there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We don't take it for granted that you decided to spend the last 1 hour with us. We are really grateful. To our viewers, the brand show is nothing without you. We couldn't have done it on our own. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being a part of the brand show. The next brand show will be on the 19th of May. Come once again. We are in Nairobi till the end of May, and Come the next month, we shall be crossing over to Tanzania. You don't want to miss, these journeys that we are making. We started with Uganda, we've been in Nairobi, we are going to Tanzania, we shall go to Kigali. The brand show is here to open your mind and perspective to business beyond your own locality. We are capable of doing business beyond the nations, and that is one of the focuses of the brand show, to expand your business mind and perspective beyond your country, beyond your own local area. So those of you who are very interested in building a brand that will outlive you and a brand that will stand the test of time, I would like to invite you to work with Winning Choices. Winning Choices works with entrepreneurs to build outstanding brands. And we have coaches not only from Uganda, but all the way from Singapore. So if you want to interact with some of our certified coaches to take your business to the next level, then Winning Choices is the place to be. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for making our show a very beautiful experience. Steve, we can't say thank you enough. Thank you so much for the valuable insights that have been shared. Thank you so much for the wisdom that have been shared. You can personally know that I am personally I have been keen, but I think I'm going to be even much more keen because of there could be possibilities that could open into my life and into my business by being more keen to the conversations of everyone that I interact with on a day-to-day basis. Have a great evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for watching. See you on the 19th of May, same time, same place. And if you've not yet liked my YouTube channel, go and like it because more valuable content is coming. Have a great evening, and thank you for watching.
Thank you. Thank you, Lydia.